You are now listening to The Perfect Prana with Kyah Ann. What's poppin'? What's good? Hello, friends. You're listening to The Perfect Prana Show, and I am your host, Kyah Ann, a yoga enthusiast. A girl, just a girl, a human being, and a college student that is in the last stretch of things. When I tell you there are so many things, so many assignments, so many deadlines that are on me right now, it's not even funny, but I'm still just going to laugh my way through it. I have the usual for you today. Well, actually, no, I don't have the usual for you today, but we'll get into it. I'm still going to do the yoga news, the yoga hills, the weekly wellness challenge, and all that good and great stuff. But before we get into all of that, let's center ourselves. No matter where you're at home, you're sitting on the couch, you're laying in bed, you're driving in your car, you're on a walk, doing a light workout. It doesn't really matter what you're doing, but let's find our center. Let's get in touch with ourselves, get in touch with our breath, get in touch with our bodies and our minds, bringing awareness to all 5 of our senses. What do you see? What do you smell? What do you taste? What do you hear? What do you feel? Sitting up nice and tall, creating a nice line of energy from our tailbone to our crown. Relaxing your shoulders, relax your eyebrows, relax your jaw. Take a deep inhale through your nose, fill up your belly, and exhale through your nose and let your belly deflate. Inhale into your belly, let it rise, and exhale to pull your belly button in. Inhale to fill up your belly like a balloon. Hold at the top, and then exhale and hold at the bottom. And breathe at your own rhythm, at your own pace. Take your own deep cleansing breaths. With each breath in, imagine your breath traveling to each part of your body that needs healing, that needs nourishment, that needs attention. And exhale a nice sigh of relief. And for the remainder of the show and for the remainder of your life, just keep focusing on your breath. Keep focusing on that prana. Prana translating to breath as in the breath of life, our energy source, and so many more translations. I am centered. Let's get into the show. Yoga news. What's going on in the world of yoga? French police arrest a yoga guru accused of exploiting female followers. Ugh. Okay, so here's the tea. Here's what's going on. Gregorian, I can't say his last name, but Gregorian B. Here's what Greg did. So Greg is the leader of a tantric yoga organization, or sometimes known as Tantra yoga. What is it? Honestly, I don't know too much about it. I've never done Tantra or Tantric yoga. I found a source on the internet, this site called Yoga Basics, and this is what they say Tantra yoga is. Tantra is a type of yoga that weaves together many different techniques such as mantra meditation, visualization, mudras, pranayama, and initiation to study the inner universe through our human body. And they actually say that Hatha yoga was derived from this. I still don't really fully understand what tantric yoga is, or even tantra is. That's beyond me right now, but maybe that's something I'll kind of want to learn more about. Normally tantric yoga is associated with sex though, and that's why I've never really was like interested in it, because like, why? I'm not gonna say anything about it because I don't really know much about it, and that's not what the yoga news is about. But I would be interested to learn more about tantric yoga or tantra yoga, and see if I could maybe in the future get somebody on here to talk about that, because I'm like, what? Anyways, back to the news story. Greg was a tantra yoga leader. Like, he had his own organization. There was reports of him coming out about him and I guess other people in the organization psychologically abusing women. They're basically saying that Greg was recruiting women through tantric yoga to really just have them do weird sexual stuff. So basically just sexually exploiting them. Ugh. Ew. They were saying that like some of these women were held captive on some of his property, and it was like 26 women. There was a lot of stuff that when I was reading about this was kind of graphic, so I don't want to go too much deep into it, but it's just, again, another spiritual leader that was abusing their power in the name of spirituality. What's really new? He was wildin'. He's like 71 years old. Yeah, and he's being charged with human trafficking, organized kidnapping, the R word, organized abuse of weakness, saying that he coerced all these women into doing weird sexual acts. I don't condone that. I don't like it when leaders abuse their power like that, and like, why? They're ruining it for everybody. And that was something that we kind of talked about in my yoga teacher training. Was in the yoga world, there are leaders that it's come to light that they were doing some weird stuff, and that they were abusive, or they were up to no good. It's not just in the yoga world, it's in a lot of these religious, spiritual realms where people get in those positions and, again, they abuse their power. It's a shame. With great power comes great responsibility, and they are definitely being irresponsible. It's never good to take away people's bodily autonomy, or to just take advantage of people's weaknesses or their naiveties. It's not good to take advantage of it. I always say, just because I left my door unlocked doesn't mean you have the right to come to my house and take all my stuff. That's it, you know? Just be a good person. It's not that hard. We should all be as smart as possible and be careful with our vulnerabilities, and make sure that we lock the door, make sure that we're aware and all that stuff. But it's not always like that. And there are people that will take advantage of that if they see that you're weak, if they see that you're dealing with some trauma or whatever. They'll be like, oh, they're the perfect person to prey on. And that is messed up. Speaking of this news story though, because I didn't want to get too deep into it, but yesterday was National Personal Space Day, November 30th, and I thought that was interesting that I found the story and it was that day, and I was like, oh wow, personal space. Making sure that when you're in people's personal space that they're comfortable with that. There's nothing more embarrassing than making people uncomfortable. Seriously though, I don't ever want to make anybody uncomfortable, and if I am making somebody uncomfortable, I want them to tell me so I can adjust, because that's not good at all. In my teacher training, we did a lot of hands-on adjustments and learning how to align people while touching them or doing things that will help them get deeper into the posture or into better alignment or whatever the case was. And that was the hardest part for me because I'm not used to touching people. I'm not, but maybe it just depends on how well I know them. And sometimes, like, during my class, I'm like, oh, I so bad want to go over there and like do this alignment, or maybe this will help them, but I just never do. I just try to use my cues. I don't ever want to make anybody uncomfortable, and I never really ask before the class, like, hey, are you okay with hands-on adjustments? Or because I'm like, it's too complicated. It adds a whole extra layer. Then I have to ask everybody. Then I have to remember who is, who isn't. Yeah, I don't know. It's just like, that's not something I've ever really done, but maybe I'll get there eventually. Maybe I'll become the type of yoga teacher that does give hands-on adjustments. But if I do, I am going to get people's consent first, and I am going to tread lightly about that because I don't want to be touching anybody or be in their personal space or making anybody uncomfortable, especially like these weird yoga leaders that get all up in people's space and do the most weirdest things ever. And then next thing we know, that it came out that they were assaulting people, and it's not good. It's not good business. It's not good business at all. On to my personal yoga journey. What's going on with me and yoga? I just been keeping up with my own practice every day, even if it's for a little bit. Sometimes I do hour-long practices, and then sometimes I'm doing 5-10 minutes today. Last night I was practicing for over an hour. It was getting intense. I was really getting somewhere. Really just focused on my own practice. I draw inspiration from social media or like whatever I see people post, things that I remember from certain classes I took or whatever the case is, and then I kind of freestyle my practice. And then a lot of it is just repetitive as well. But that's where the growth is. The growth is in the repetition. And God knows I need growth. I mean, I don't really need growth. I guess I am growing, but sometimes I do feel like I'm not doing enough to facilitate that growth and to move myself forward. And I've been kind of feeling like that this week. Like, man, I'm not doing enough. I've been going through that. I guess I need to really ask myself, well, what do I need to do in order to feel like I am growing and that I'm moving myself forward and that I'm on the right path? What do I need to do? It's December 1st, so it's the last month of 2023, and I guess this is a good time to reflect on the year. And when I'm reflecting on the year, I'm actually pretty pleased with how this year went. I'm so much better. And sometimes when I do feel like I'm not doing enough, I really do have to look at myself year to year. Just think about how the growth and the change is not overnight. It is so much degree by degree. Some of my biggest accomplishments this year that come to mind, well, of course, doing my teacher training and becoming a teacher, becoming an instructor. That was amazing for me. I was not expecting that at the beginning of this year. I didn't know that this is where I would be at the beginning of this year. I'm actually pretty proud of myself. I'm pretty amazed. Something else that I'm proud of that I did this year, that happened for me this year, was, of course, starting this show. But y'all, episode 9 of this show has to date 156 downloads total. And that's the extended version, of course. And like, wow, that's so amazing. There's people that downloaded this show in different countries like Belgium, Ireland, a lot of places around the US. I'm even seeing the Philippines on this list. Like, wow, I don't know how many people actually listened, but the fact that 150 something people downloaded my show, not my show, but that particular episode. I thought that was pretty cool, and I'm pretty proud of myself for that. I had a few breakthroughs this year. If I had to rate my self-esteem at the beginning of the year versus my self-esteem now, I'd say my self-esteem improved by like 6 points. I don't know. I think I got a better relationship with myself. It's been over a year since I've used cannabis, and that's pretty cool. It was a good year. Ode to 2023. I went through a lot of changes this year, and I actually went through them very slowly, and it's like nothing has been an overnight shift. I have experienced the growth and the changes degree by degree. When I tell you there's ebbs and flows to this, there's ebbs and flows to this. I just been, I guess, reflecting, and some of those feelings are coming up, but then it's like I have to give gratitude and I have to give thanks for what I have been doing or what I've done, and to just keep moving forward. There's ebbs and there's flows to it. Notice, like, at times in my life, I'm going to feel like I'm soaring and I'm getting all this stuff done and I'm growing and I'm changing. And then other times I might be like, I'm not doing enough, but like I am. It's just degree by degree. It's degree by degree. Anyways, on to Yoga Heals. For this week's episode of Yoga Heals, I am having the most important person on to have a conversation with, and that is me. Seriously, I couldn't get anybody for this week's episode. Things didn't really work out. This week when it didn't work out for me getting someone on, I was like, well, that's fine, because look, I'm at the end of the semester. I have like maybe 1 or 2 more episodes after this show until I start a new season in January. So I thought it would be a good time to reflect on, again, more reflection. I thought it would be a good time to reflect on the best of Yoga Heals. I've learned so much from each guest that I've had on this show. When Dr. Michaela came on and she talked about the power of Om.
So you're balancing the sympathetic and the parasympathetic nervous system.
When Paris came on and she talked about what yoga brings to her life.
Whole more like community aspect of why I love yoga.
When Kay came on and she compared yoga to life.
A yoga teacher, she was like, yoga is about breathing in difficult positions, and you should apply that to your everyday life.
And there was Amy, and Amy talked about her personal story and why she practices.
Reference, I am adopted. I think like growing up, I had some pretty bad separation anxiety.
When Amina came on and we reflected on who we used to be and who we are now.
The last time we hung out, we were... Wait, can I say what we were doing?
Yeah, you can say it. You can say it.
And of course, Michael, the first male to ever be on my show. And the most streamed episode, too.
And with Kemetic yoga and even the Smile Tower yoga, which people also call Egyptian yoga, it's not a workout. It's a spirit release.
I have to put Tina in there because she was my first episode, and honestly, she really influenced how this show played out.
Can we take a deep breath together? So this is silly. I end each of my emails with a deep inhale and a deep exhale, comma, Tina Tan.
There were so many moments on the show where I learned a lot, and it was just vibes. I had so many laughs with my friends.
Mic drop.
You said mic drop. Okay.
They are now.
And I had so many moments of being candid and telling you all things that bring me a little bit of shame, and just being honest about that. Time. I'm literally always, it's like time and me are not friends right now. Me and time are not working together. So yeah, I just wanted to take this section of the episode to reflect and to give thanks to everybody that has come on here. I mean, this is the 12th episode, so 11 episodes of conversation with amazing people. I seriously love everybody that's been on the show, and I really love everybody that listens to the show. Thank you so much. That is the section of Yoga Heals. This was the best of episode. I'll be back next week with a guest. There will be a guest next week, okay? We're gonna end the season strong with guests. Giving gratitude. Thank you all so much. We made so much progress this year, and 2024 is gonna bring more, period. Weekly wellness challenge. Last week, I challenged you all to do something that makes you happy or brings you joy every day. And it wasn't really a challenge, and it wasn't really like meant to be challenging. It was meant to be sukha, easy. Sukha translates to easy. That's how I wanted it to be, because it's like the holidays and it's a stressful time of the year. So it's like we do need to be doing things that bring us joy. So unless what brings you joy is sadistic, then I don't know what to tell you. But if what brings you joy is just your thing, then yeah, cool. Yeah. Did I do something that brings me joy every day intentionally? Let's say, yeah, I practice yoga every day. That brings me joy. And I did enjoy my coffee most days. Not every day. I actually went 2 days this week without coffee, which is crazy. The other day I made myself a dinner that I really enjoyed too. And it's just before I did these things, or while I was doing these things, in my head, I said to myself, I really enjoy this. Thank you. And I gave thanks to God. And I was like, yes, thank God that I can enjoy this. This is a blessing. And yeah, that was the vibe. I hope that you all enjoyed your week and that you'll enjoy this next upcoming week and the rest of your life. This week's weekly challenge, I need to get mentally organized. I have a lot to do. Even with this show, I need to get mentally organized, especially for this episode. Like, what am I going to talk about? I'm not having a guest. Like, the guest isn't going to carry the show, so I have to put a little bit more thought into it. Yeah. Now is the time where I have to get mentally organized, and that means that lists and goals are my friends right now. Like that's the goal, is to have my list and to have my goals at the forefront of my mind to really just power through the rest of the semester. We're in the last stretch, people. And especially since it is the last month of 2023, I decided I want to write down 3 goals I want to do before the end of this month. Task, something that I've been meaning to finish that I didn't get to finish, but a SMART goal, specific, measurable, attainable, time, SMART. I can't remember the rest of the acronym, but look, I'm gonna write down my realistic goals for this month. And these goals are gonna help move me forward and make me feel good, and there's something to do. I'll actually write them down today, since it is December 1st. And I'm going to look at these goals every day that I wake up. And it doesn't matter when I wake up, I'm just going to look at these goals. I'm going to write them down in my journal. I'm going to put my journal by my bed. And every day that I wake up, I'm going to open up my journal. I'm going to look at these goals. And I'm going to keep those goals at the forefront of my mind. That is the challenge. We're finishing off 2023 strong. Whatever you did not get to do this year, we're taking the next step this month. We're gonna either finish it or we're gonna start it. We're gonna make waves. We're gonna do it. Period. That is the challenge. That's the weekly challenge. Yes, SMART goals: specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely. Yes, yes, yes. So that's the acronym, and I'm gonna write down my SMART goals. Like, these are things that I can achieve and get done by the end of this month. And I actually have them already. I know what they are. I just have to write them down in my journal. Goal 1, I'm going to go to 3 more yoga classes this month, not to teach but to practice. And I always do my home practice and my self practice. I love going to yoga classes because they teach me more. Like, sometimes I can only get so much from within myself. I have to go out here and I have to learn more, stay connected to my teachers. Also, just take notes from whatever they teach me and add it to my own practice, because there's always more. There's always another layer. They might give me a cue that might move me along further or whatever. It's just so easy to just be in the routine of, I'm home, I'm just going to get on my mat, wear whatever I want, look however I want, and just do it privately. But I really do love and appreciate being able to go to other yoga teachers outside of myself. Second goal, I'm going to finish my book. I started a book at the beginning of the semester. I made it like halfway through and I never finished. And that's really easy for me to do. Like, I'll read half of a book and never finish it. But I want to be a book finisher. I am a book finisher. So I'm going to finish that book. Goal number 3. I'm going to complete a 3-day fast this month. And I've been talking about fasting with my father a lot because that's all he talks about. Like, he literally... it's his personality traits. He is a chronic faster. Seriously though, but we were talking about it the other day. He was reading How to Eat to Live. He was looking for something in the book about fasting. The book said a fast should be from 2 to 3 days without eating food. If we are seeking spiritual advancement, we should fast for 3 days. Why I decided this needs to be the month that I fast for 3 days, hit myself with a 3-day fast, is because, like I said, I've been feeling like I'm not doing enough to facilitate my growth. So I'm like, this is the perfect opportunity to go on a 3-day fast, facilitate that spiritual growth. That is what I'm going to do this month. 3 specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, timely goal. I don't even think that was the acronym, but those are my 3 goals. I'm gonna write them down and I'm gonna look at them every day for a week, every day that I wake up, and I'm gonna knock out each goal. I'm gonna knock them out. I'm putting on my boxing gloves right now and I'm going to end this December with a knockout. So yeah. And that's the challenge for everybody else. Write down those 3 goals that you want to knock out by the end of this month, and let's get them done in 2023 the right way. Thank you all so much for being here with me. You're listening to the Perfect Prana Show on 88.1 FM WCRX, or you're listening on Apple and Spotify. Much love, much love. Before I end the episode, I have a quote for you all, and quote is from Time Management, Brian Tracy. It's like, I need to reread this book with the way that I've been managing my time, but I read this book a while back and I finished it and it was a good book, and I opened to a random page and I have made some notes in this book, and I decided, you know what, talking about getting mentally organized, talking about goals and all that stuff, I was like, why not pick a quote from this book? The quote is, "You will only feel really happy, valuable, and worthwhile to the degree to which your day-to-day activities are in harmony with your values." That's the quote. I feel like it was kind of on theme. To feel happy and valuable and worthwhile, we have to align our day-to-day actions with our values. I know that I value health, so I make sure that I do something that helps me feel healthy every day, or could be with money. So I did something today to save money or to make money, or it could be whatever you value, just making sure that our actions align with those values. And that's the episode. That's the quote. May the light and darkness in me bow to the light and darkness within you. Namaste. Ashe.